Good evening and welcome again to you listening to us on this Sunday um, afternoon here at the Relationship and Marriage Hour. This program is brought to you by Love Bay Radio, your number one African, Caribbean, and diaspora online radio out of Canada. Yes, and I'm so happy, as always, to be joined by the host of the show, Dr. Maria MacDonald. How are you today?
I am doing very well, Dr. Alvin. It's so good to be back here on this pleasant Sunday afternoon. It is a good day
Yes,
today.
yes,
Yes.
a good day. And our topic for today, we're dealing with marriage and finance. Wow. Yeah, finances. What a loaded area. And you and I know, because we've talked about it before, how
Mhm.
statistics says there are two things really that bring a wedge early in a marriage, and that tends to be sex and finances.
Mhm.
So we want to dive right into this money issue. What is the money issue? So
Mhm.
yeah, so that's what we want to talk about today. Go on, Doc.
Yes. Dr. Alvin, being in marriage sometimes, some people do not feel financially safe or stable because
Mhm,
of the amount of things that money must be spent on and the amount of money coming in. But this is a topic that is like sex. It's a hot, sexy topic. And
yes.
and the sooner we can fix this topic, we can have beautiful relationships.
Mhm,
Um, so this is what we want to look at because there are a lot of financial stress in marriages, and it can be killing your marriage, your relationship, your intimate time together, because your mind is constantly, do we have enough money? Are we going to be able to pay the bills? So, Dr. Alvin, this is where we need to start right here. How
mhm,
can we feel financially safe is
mhm,
one of the things that I really want to answer, to be able to
mhm,
help our audience with. How can we not be stressed about money but feel financially safe? Dr.
mhm.
Alvin, can you help us with that?
I remember, even before I got married, my pastor, Reverend Stanley Rowley, he said something in a sermon, and then we had a Wednesday night Bible study, and he talked about it. He talked about money and how him and his wife, Kathy Roll, how they deal with money in their house. And he says that because at that time he worked for himself, he was a mason, so he laid blocks, poured floor, all that type stuff. He said when he reached home, first person, when he gets paid, them two goes through the money. She deals be, because she had that business mindset. She dealt more so with the money. Um, they had one account that they put the money on, and when something needed to be bought for them, the children, for the house, everything came out of that one account. Each of them were able to go and check on the account, know what was going on, all of that type of stuff. And then what got me interested in what he was saying was that he said this. So when the money ran out, he never had to have a conversation with her asking where the rest of the money,
Wow.
or I need a dress, or this need to happen, that need to happen, because she knew what was on the account. She knew what was there, and they budget accordingly. So one of the first things, Doc, that I think that needs to happen, and I see it so much in my counseling of couples who are who tell me that they are all in love and they are ready to share their life with one another. But when we start talking about money, that big separation, that's his money, that's this my money. What I do with my money is mine. And one of the things that needs to happen is transparency.
Yes, that's a big one, Doc.
They have to
Yes.
be transparent. Your spouse should know how much you make. And I am
Yes.
surprised at the amount of people that I counsel when they say to me, oh, they don't know how much their spouse makes. And I'm like, what? How come you don't know that information? Oh, they don't tell me. So I don't ask them. I'm like, so how are you all planning? How are you all budgeting? How do you all know where the money is going? Um, I just don't understand, Doc. And in my relationship, in my marriage with Tanya deals with the money because she got that accounting mind. She has everything to a science. One time when we lived in America and I came home, I don't know if I shared this story with you before I came, when I have to go through customs, and I swiped my card. By the time I walked out of the customs building to the parking lot to get my ride to go on home, Tanya called me and she's like, "Oh, so you spent this amount on at customs, eh?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I love this woman." And and people will be like, "Well, why is it that you like that?" Because now my wife knows where every dime goes. She don't have to worry about me spending money on no sweetheart. She ain't gotta worry
Mm-hmm.
about me doing anything on untoward or hiding something here or hiding something there. So I could sleep at night at peace because she knows
Dr.
where the
Alvin,
money is. She knows what
wow.
is spent on.
That is so good, Dr. Alvin. That is so good. And you brought up some good points. Because if one doesn't know what the spouse is making, how can we work together?
Yeah.
There has to be unity, and that unity means that everything is transparent. You said it.
Hmm.
And when there's transparency, then there's no need for mistrust, Dr. Alvin.
Hmm.
So you can
I agree.
understand where some of the problem comes in when marriages are stressed because of finances. I don't know what he's making. He doesn't know what I'm making. And
Hmm.
yet, money's short. Bills cannot be paid. But
Hmm.
if we, and like you say with Tanya, if we budget properly and if we open up to say, well, okay, I'm getting 400, you get the 700, we pull this together and we can do much more. But when you
Hmm.
have two pot cooking at one time, Doc, you can understand why the stress, eh? Because I'm
Yes.
trying to find ingredients for my pot and you're trying to find ingredients for your pot. So we have
Hmm.
a problem.
Hmm. So true. So true. And and I'm of the opinion that anything that is done in the dark leads to distrust. So, like my mother used to say to me, she's like, "Alvin, why are you hiding doing that?" I was like, "It ain't no reason, mom." And she used to respond, "If there is no reason, then you don't need to hide. There's no reason to hide to do something good. If
I
you
like that.
hiding, you you
Something
know
else.
something you doing isn't altogether good."
Mm, yes,
So so um like you and I talk about, Tanya knows my passwords to all of my phones, to all of my devices. I put my wallet on the table. If she wants something, I say to her, just go there and take it. I only ask you to say to me, Alvin, I move $10 or I move $50, because I know what I put in the wallet, and if I go back there and I count and a $50 bill is gone, then I start thinking, well, did I lose the $50? What happened to the $50? But if you tell me, Alvin, I move this amount, then I know, okay, subtract that from what you know you had there. Um,
right.
and that communication piece, and that's the second thing. The first one is you got to be transparent. The second is you got to communicate.
That's right. Mhm.
You have to be able to communicate to your spouse, this is what needs to happen, this is where I'm at, this is what I have, and this is what we can do with what we have.
So true. So true. But, this is something that is will help all marriages if we
Mm-hmm.
open up, if we communicate. Because sometimes I don't know the reason why we will hold back from our spouse. Because when you made your vows, you realize who you would be marrying, a Dr. Alvin. So you
Yes.
would not go into something with someone you really don't trust. So that is one of the things that we have to get beyond, be able to trust our spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And usually if you prepare for something, you will get exactly what you're preparing for.
Yes.
And one of the things that people often look at, Doc, is that what if this marriage doesn't work? What if it works?
Mm-hmm.
Why go through the stress of you know hiding your finances or holding back? Now, one thing I agree with, Dr. Alvin, and you said it well about your wife. If you have a wife that is one who can save, one who knows how to budget, and she's putting something aside for when it's really needed. We call it for rainy day, but you said, when is the rainy day coming, right? But
Yes.
she puts that money aside until there is a dire need or something comes up that is above the norm. Then she can pull out and say, there are some women, they always have money
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
she is looking out for her husband's finances and she's trying to keep it. But the thing that causes contention in relationship when it comes to finances is that when we have ulterior motives, and perhaps may not be, but when we feel we want to hold back a little something just in case, right? Or if we
Yeah.
have a little side chick, we want to hold back a little something so we can't let wife or husband know how much we're getting because
Mm-hmm.
we want to have something for that side. But if we have a relationship where we are open, we 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 trust each other, then we should be able to sit down and go through the finances. Now, Dr. Alvin, I want to share a little bit of my um, testimony here. And, I don't open up and share this too much, but some people know me, right? I used to like gamble. And I think I've
Oh
shared
wow.
this before. I used to like
Yes,
gambling.
ma'am.
I gamble in the sense that I love the lottery. Not the lottery wasn't as big, but we have our own little lottery here in the country called
Mm-hmm.
and buying numbers. I love buying numbers, right?
Wow.
And therefore, for me, I couldn't say to my husband all the money I have because I was one of those compulsive gambler and I put money on numbers, right? So I would keep back from him knowing what I'm spending, what I have, because I'm trying to get a good number. But we have people that are compulsive gambler, doc, in relationship. And if you're like I was, when anytime you put your hand on money, the only thing you're thinking about, putting it where you always put it, in the gambling.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
this is something that can really destroy a relationship. I thank God for my
Mm-hmm.
relationship because my husband, one of the things he said to me, he said, you know what? When you get locked up for numbers, because by this time it was illegal, I will not bring you water because you know better, right? So what he had to do, he took control of the finances. He managed the money. He paid the bills. So the only thing I was able to get is what I worked for because he, like a man, he feel it was a man's duty to take care of the home.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it's even harder, Doc, when you have a man that is a compulsive gambler. He's the
Mm.
breadwinner of the home. So now you push the woman in that position. And sometimes the women, we as women, we will really make sure what the little we got, we make that work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why don't we speak a bit about those that are compulsive gambler? Because I believe we have persons in relationship that are really struggling
Mm-hmm.
with a spouse that
Yeah.
needs to be able to come and let's pool our finances, stop the
Mm-hmm.
gambling, and make things work in the home. Why
Mm-hmm.
don't you speak a little bit about that?
And dog, that brings me to my third um, point as to the original question that was asked, to give our audience nuggets or points that they can use to navigate their finances. The first point, like I said, was you should be transparent. Second point is is um, is that you have to communicate, and this third point is that you got to be honest,
Yep.
and that honesty, I think, is one of those key things, Doc. First of all, let me use me. Alvin has to be honest with Alvin. I know my weaknesses. More than likely, the person that you married or you were drawn to because opposites attract, your
Yeah.
weakness may be their strength.
Yeah.
Stop saying you are strong when you are weak.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle money, Doc, but Tanya handles it better.
Mm-hmm.
And be and because she does a better job with the money than me, ain't no skin off my back if I make sure that she deals with everything. All I ask her to do
Right.
is let's communicate. So
That's
to
right.
the person who have a gambling problem, you must first be honest with yourself that whenever I get money in my hand, I spend it on gambling. Have a conversation. After you to be honest with
Mm-hmm.
yourself, be honest with your spouse. Then you and your spouse set the criteria. Okay, well, let's say there are some people who don't believe like we believe that gambling is wrong and gambling is a sin. Um, your spouse and you can sit down and discuss. Listen, the bulk of your money come here. 80, 90% come here. We giving you 5% for gambling.
Mm-hmm.
And run up, you can't look back. So you got to make that 5% work. Those are the type of conversations you need to have. Then when you're 5% out, well, you know, well, I can't gamble no more until I get a next payment. So that then helps you even in trying to discipline yourself in that. So it may not be gambling. You may like to buy video games to play video games all day. Whatever it is, if the majority of your money is going outside that is not benefiting the whole union, then there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
I
same thing with me. If all of my money, Doc, goes in the church,
mm-hmm.
that's a problem.
Same thing. Yeah. Same thing.
Because if my money goes in the church, whose money is paying the light bill? And then let me even clarify that because I'm saying my money. It ain't my money, it's our money. Because every dollar I
Yeah.
make is ours.
That's right.
I so therefore me one can't determine what to do with our money. We must come together and decide that together.
Dr. Alvin, you hit something just now. You said to give 5%. You sure that is the right thing to do for one who is a compulsive gambler? 5%? You
But
know.
that was just an example. Um, when Tanya and I have our discussion, we have to negotiate. We go backward and forward until we come to a reasonable place. But
Mm-hmm.
what I realize is that once you set a budget, the budget is king. The budget rules. So some months, whether you're a compulsive gambler or not, some months you may say, boy, our goal is we need to save X amount of money so we can build our house. You
Mm-hmm.
can gamble this month.
Mm-hmm. See, that is fine, Doc. I know you use that as an example, but
Hmm.
should we be trying to help that person to get off gambling. I'm looking at in the event there is someone who's listening and is a compulsive gambler. I'm not sure negotiating how much he will or she will get to gamble,
Mm-hmm.
because when you are a gambler, you will keep asking for more. And whether it's $1, you will ask for more. So I feel then we need to find solution for that spouse, you know, because being a compulsive gambler in a family, that can rip that family apart. So I don't know, Doc, if I would want to negotiate. Even though I was one, I don't want my husband to negotiate. I was happy that he was a level head in terms
Mm-hmm.
of having, I'm doing what he did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the reality is that in some marriages, there is compulsive gamblers that needs help.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's what I can see happening, Doc, is that once they would have used up everything they have, then they start borrowing. I've seen people at so bad, and thank God I didn't reach that point. But there are persons that become so bad that they begin to borrow. And once you hit that level, it's just about over. And then you wonder, well, how much more can this marriage stand? So I would look for a solution to help that one who is the gambler. My husband didn't give me the money. He did everything himself. And that was one way because I felt real bad. You don't trust me? That was my first thought, you know. So it caused me then to begin to think.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe for those marriages, because I see those marriages can end in separation or divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing with persons that are married and are not managing their finances well, they perhaps need to come together, like you said, Doc, and realize that we are in one pot, and let's make this thing work. Be
Mm-hmm.
open, like you say. I love that. Frank, communicate. I love that. Because when you can sit down, because there is no way, Dr. Alvin, a couple, both of them making over 70 or $1,000, but yet they cannot show a savings, or making even 30 and not show a savings. So it means then that there is mismanagement. I mentioned at one point about delayed gratification. We Everything we see, we want it now.
Yes.
We
Yes.
see a dress, we want that dress, and guess what? We don't go for the cheap stuff. We go for because we know we got money. So we buy the most expensive dress. We buy everything expensive, Dr. Alvin. And I believe this is where a problem comes in. When the more money you get, I believe it's the more you should begin to um, budget wisely and save. Because the more money you get, every dollar can go out your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not saving because you feel that, oh, I'm making plenty money, I can always save. And I believe that's where a lot of people find themselves in tough places because they
Yeah.
didn't budget wisely and they didn't plan properly, you know.
I agree. I agree 100%, Doc. I agree that well, lack of planning, lack of budgeting leads to frustration.
Frustration to the highest.
Hmm.
Frustration.
Yeah, so that's where we are. So if you don't want to, and Doc, what gets me, and this freaks me out, and I guess because this is the marriage and relationship hour, we could go here. I'm counseling persons who are willing to share their bodies with each other. They
Hmm.
are willing to have children with each other. They're
Yes.
willing to travel the world and do everything, and they have no problems with that. But they
Yes.
have a problem with he can't touch my money. He could touch your body, but can't touch your money.
That's a
That
serious,
that, that to
serious thing.
me, that to me,
My
dog.
God. Yes.
Wow, I don't understand. Cause so what do you value? What do you put
More.
value in more? I
Wow.
would put value in my person more than I put in what's in my wallet.
Wow. Wow. Now that's a big statement right there.
So
And we don't
so
realize it, though.
so the mindset of people, I don't understand that.
You are so right. Wow. I didn't see it that way, but you are so right. We give them access to everything, but don't touch my money. What about when your health is not what it ought to be? Don't touch my money. And the
Every
thing is, you know,
Yeah, I don't understand it, dog. Um, you could cook for me. If you want to put poison in the food, I don't know, because I trust you with the food. I trust you with us driving down in the car together. I trust sleeping on the side of you with my eye
mhm,
closed. I trust all of that. But you better not touch what is my money,
that is a
because
serious
now
thing.
they don't
So,
see money as a
wow,
tool. They see
yeah,
they put the wrong value on money,
on,
and
yeah,
therefore there will always be a problem with it.
put their value in the wrong place. Wow,
Yes.
wow, wow. And if we can only get our perspective right, if we can only get our perspective right, all of the stress that we are carrying, um, it will not be. Why
I
don't we
agree.
value our lives above our money? And
Mhm.
that's why people have prenuptial agreement, doc. They arrange for prenuptial because they don't want the spouse to take everything. Or you're not going to take my money when I'm gone. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Sad, dog. It is
it
sad.
is. I mean, that has its place and not to be misunderstood. But when we're thinking of prenuptial, you say you love me and you don't trust me. Well, I know we see a lot of things happen, but if I say I'm giving myself to my husband, this is the man I want to marry, then there has to be trust. If we
Yes.
don't start with trust, we are not going to continue in trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why there's so much problem, doc, in marriages when it comes to finances. And then you have one spouse, hey, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I bring the money home. What I bring is what I give to you, And these are
Yeah.
the things that will cause problems. We have to take our relationship a level up. We have to take it a level up because, and that level up meaning that we have to trust one another. And everything that we have, we become one. We lay it all on the table and we determine that this is what we have, not what I have, but this is
Mm-hmm.
what we have. How can we? And see, it's always good with two dogs, but when one is trying to fix it, you can have a breakdown because when the two of us agree on something, two can make it work better.
Yes.
Two can make it work better. And regardless of the amount of money that comes in, like I always tell people, even if you save $25 a week based on your salary level. Now, if you're making 50, 60,000 or more, you should be able to save more. But I don't know, but some folks see money, the more money they see, the more money they spend.
And that's, oh, dog. That's what I was going to go add in there. And then too, think about it. You working at a job, and they start you off. Let's say they start you off with 30,000, and you working, and you say, "Boy, I can't wait. My life would be so much better if I now making 45,000 a year." Now you're making 45,000. Guess what your human nature can say? Boy, my life would
Mhm.
be better if I making 60,000. So
Yes.
there is no end.
No.
So if you don't put your own safeguards in place, you will always just be running after money,
Mhm. That's
and you
right.
will never get enough.
That's right.
Be because the more we get, the more we want.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
like I just couldn't understand changing a phone to get a new phone, and the phone you have, there is no problems with it, but you just want the
Doesn't make
latest
sense.
one.
Yes.
And the latest
Yes.
one, like I one of my members was at the church that I pastor. Okay, doc, my phone cost like 100 and something dollars, and he spent over $1,400 on a phone,
Wow.
and then he wants to come and ask if the church could help him pay his rent. I'm like, help you pay what rent?
Priorities.
You got your rent in your
Priorities.
hand.
Families. Exactly. Exactly. Prioritize what is important to you. Wow.
But that's our people now. They are tingsy. That's the word we use here
Yes.
in the Bahamas. They tingsy. They want things. So if and boy, I love my wife because she ain't for the name brand. She ain't gotta be all out there. Once she is
No.
comfortable, she's fine.
That's
When
right.
we went looking for a brand, when I got a new job, and I say, okay, this is how much I'm going to be making a year. I'm going to get you a car. When we went looking for cars, I asked her, what brand do you want? And you know what she said to me? Something, the brand that could take me from home to school, pick up the
That,
children, and I come back home and I ain't got to worry about it breaking down.
all right.
And
All
I'm like,
right.
so what brand is that? She's like, you should
A good.
know.
Wow. Wow.
And that's what we
Wow.
did. We got us something that was reliable. Mind you, it ain't a Lexus. It ain't one of them highfalutin cars that if it breaks down, it must go to the dealership.
Mm.
It's the car that if it break down and your daddy could fix it, and I could go to AID and get a makeshift part to put in it, it can still run
That's right.
smooth, and she is
That's right.
happy.
That's right. And Doc, what I hear you saying, it isn't so much that she couldn't get something expensive, but she economized.
That's my point. Thank you
She
very
economized.
much.
But there
Yeah.
are some people, it has to be the name brand car, it has to be the name brand shoe, red bottom shoes, it has to be the name brand dress, and all of them have its place. There's no problem. If you're making the
Hmm.
money for it,
Hmm.
and it's not going to interfere what you eat and when you eat and how you eat, then it's fine, you know. But one thing we need to do when we do that, make sure we have a saving. Make sure there is a savings. So whenever there is a need, that need can be met. Because one thing I say, Doc, sometimes if we don't have to spend no money, then spend no money.
Yeah.
Spend no money. But I believe it's how you train yourself, you
Hmm.
know. One of the things I tell our young people, when you get your first job, I ask them actually the question, what are you going to do first when you get your job? And almost every time, the first thing I'll buy a car.
Ah, yes. Dad investment.
That investment, why buy a car? Take your money and try and save your money and try to see if you can get a home
Buy a piece of
because
property.
or property. One of the things I also tell them is what Dr. Miles said. You know, you want to make good money, then invest in yourself. Make yourself a much better person. Qualify yourself, and then money will find you.
Yes. Yes.
Money will find
Mm-hmm.
you. So in relationship, in marriages, the first thing we as a couple, and I love the young couple we had on the station the other day. They sit and they plan even before the marriage. They are planning, and as they go along, they find out what else needs to be done, and they are putting those things in place. So for our
Mm-hmm.
listening audience, you know, let have that time for talking about your finances. We have a program on the show on Love Bay, um, that speaks about family. Jay, her program comes on a weekly basis. So I just want to encourage our audience to tune into her program and learn how to manage your money well,
Okay.
to be able to help your spouse and to have
Yes.
a better relationship, you know.
Yeah.
And if we do that, life will be so much better.
Mm-hmm.
You will have less stress. You know, you wouldn't have to worry about where you're going to get that next dollar to pay that phone bill or that rent bill. The host of the program is Miss J, and she is the host of the business, and she comes on every Thursday at 7 p.m. If you're listening to us this blessed Sunday afternoon, I want you to tune into Miss J and learn more about finances,
Yeah.
especially for the married folks. Find out what you need to know and apply it. Nothing beats application, Dr. Alvin. That
Nothing.
applicant, when we apply it, it makes us that much better.
Mm-hmm. And that's what wisdom is. Wisdom is applied knowledge. So
Apply
people
knowledge.
people like to say knowledge is power, but what's the
Mhm.
sense of having plenty power, but you still don't turn on the light
And do the
inside your house? So that means you still
that's right,
fumbling, you still walking around in darkness.
in darkness.
Having all that power and is not being used is useless power. It is just
Yeah.
stored power. You need to move from the
Wow.
potential and move to the kinetic, which is the application. And see that you see, like on physics,
I'm
on
telling you.
Newton, yeah, you have to move from the potential and move
Yes.
to the kinetic because people don't care what you got if you ain't
No.
using it.
If you're using it.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
have too many things that, especially in the marriage, that we can use to make it work. There are
Hmm.
so many things that we can use to make it work. Sit down and count the money
Hmm.
and savings. Always have
Hmm.
savings. I always love the wealth account, Dr. Alvin. Always have a wealth account.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
money you have no need to spend it. You have the household account, the wealth account, and you keep
Hmm.
those accounts growing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And Doc, now we've been talking
Mhm.
about the persons in the relationship who always spending. What about those who never want to spend?
That's
Because
just as
that's a
bad,
problem
Dr.
too.
Alvin. It's a
That's
problem too.
that's a problem
Wow.
too. And we got to let them know
Yes.
you got to strike a balance. Because
Yes.
because you have persons who like I was. Um, I come from a low income family,
Mhm.
so having money was far and in between, right? So
I
when
know
I
them.
started working and seeing money going to my account, I I would sign on to my account like 10, 15 times a day just to look to see how much money there, and I won't touch it. So my wife had to help me. She's like, Alvin, you ain't eat yet today. You got money. And I'm like, no, no, I watch me now. I put that up for a rainy day. That's staying there for a rainy day. I can't touch that. She's like, yeah, you can
Wow.
drop that dead.
And that'll be a rainy day.
And That's the major really thing there. My wife Tanya helped me so much because she said, Alvin, you need to stop. You have the wrong relationship and the wrong understanding of money. You need to see
Yes.
money as a tool,
A tool to be used. Yes.
a tool to be you. Yeah, like the carpenter sees a hammer as his tool. He don't take
That's
that.
right.
He don't take that hammer to bed with him and sleep with that hammer. Oh
No.
no! When I
You
go on
use
the
it when
job
you,
site, I use it and
yes.
then I put it where it needs to be so I can use it again. And that's how you have to
That's
view
right.
money. Money is just something that that we don't squander it. We use it
Yes.
when it's supposed to be
Wisely.
used, and that's the word again. It got to be used wisely. We use it when it's
Hmm.
supposed to be used, and then other times you just put it where it needs to be. Because then, Doc, you and I take all our money, put it in the bank account, and we never live. God forbid we die. Guess what can happen? When we spend 20, 30 years to build up the looking at on our bank account, our children and grandchildren come and fight over it, and whoever get it, spend it all in two, 3
That's right.
weeks. Money
That's
gone.
right. Go on. That's right. That's for sure. Doc,
And
I
you never
heard
get
one.
a chance to
Mhm.
enjoy life.
That's it. You didn't enjoy it. I heard one pastor said at a funeral, he said, y'all parents, y'all there talk about you saving up for your children. You better take that money, go on a cruise, enjoy your life, live the way you want to live. And if anything should leave for them, then they can have it. But you go and enjoy yourself. And that's what
Hmm.
it is. When you would have done, everything and you save your money, just enjoy your life.
Hmm.
And before we
Hmm.
go on any further, I just want our audience to know that you're watching the program, The Relationship in Marriage Hour, that is brought to you by Love Babe Radio. Please join us on Sunday afternoons as we share about tips on how you can make your marriage better in various areas. Now, if you are listening to us and you have a topic that you wish for us to talk about, please send us your comments or send us your requests and we will seek to cover those topics. But we want you to have an enjoyable relationship as
Hmm.
you walk this journey out with your beloved spouse. So,
Yes.
Dr. Alvin, yeah, we
Yeah.
have to, make sure we saving wisely and with a purpose in mind.
Yes. Yes. Tanya and I, and this was our goal, and this is our goal. When we sat down and looked at our struggles in early in our marriage, and we had this discussion, and I said, Tanya, what was our major bill? What was our major bill? And it had to have been getting a house, paying rent, and paying mortgage, and actually still paying mortgage. That that was our major bill, and in our discussion, I said, Tanya, what if our parents had left us a house? How much further along we would have been as a
Yes,
couple? What if
that's
when we
right.
got married, our parents says, okay, this is your house, you all go there, live there, start off there, don't have to worry about paying rent, you all just go live and grow from there. And I said to her, that's if that's the least we do, let's do that for our children.
Right.
So let's get them a good house.
Yes.
And after we didn't get them a good house, we going traveling, we going to
That's right.
enjoy the rest of our money.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And if anything left over, they get the house plus what left over.
Whatever
But I
left
am
over.
not going to be stressed out,
No,
and I can't enjoy
that's right.
something.
Yes.
All work
And
and
Doc
no play makes Johnny
makes
what? A dull boy.
a dull, and then there's going to be complaint, and then there's going to be arguments because you are
Hmm.
too dull.
Hmm.
One thing I want to say, a good place for couples to start, Dr. Alvin, um, take a Sunday afternoon like today. Take a Sunday afternoon get $10. You don't need plenty money,
Mhm.
$10, and go buy some ice cream and just
Yeah.
go on a drive. Just drive through the town and have a good time together. That is the beginning towards what you want to do for later. And even if the
Mhm.
money is small right now, start enjoying each other. An ice cream, or they say a pop, a soda pop, you know but find something healthy and just enjoy each other with
Mhm.
a small amount, maybe
Mhm.
$10, $20, and begin to practice that together, you
Mhm.
know. And you will find things will work out good. I'm so grateful for my husband because when it comes to finances, he does his part as a husband. And just like you said, Doc, when he comes home, he put his wallet there. If you need anything, go and take it. That's all,
Mhm.
just go and
Mhm.
get what you want.
Get what you want.
And he said he often say that he's the only man working don't get paid because he doesn't worry about going to the bank. He doesn't want a bank code. I would just go to the bank and make sure everything is taken care of. But that
Mhm.
comes with trust. I had to move away from that gambling because you would never see that had I
Mhm.
continued gambling.
Praise the
No.
Lord.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, been delivered. So
Mhm.
for those
Mhm.
persons out there that are compulsive gambler, listen, you can't win more. You can't win more than what you have.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
games are all set up.
Mhm.
They're set up,
The
and
house
even if
always wins.
yeah, they always win.
Mhm.
You know, so
Mhm.
you would have to take so much money to put into to trying to win, and then sometimes you don't even win. All
Mhm.
that money you put there, that same money, take that money and put it on your wealth account
Okay.
every week and every day because we can find that money, Doc, every day. So we need to
Mhm.
take that same money, open a wealth account, and say, this is money I would have been putting on gambling, but I'm saving it up to see how much. And guess what? You will save up more than you given to the number man. You will save up more than they perhaps would have given to you.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
That's how much money we put into gambling. So
Mhm.
for the marriage that is having little challenges right there with finances, you can improve it, but start with little bites at a time.
Mhm.
Little bites. You bring yours to the table and say, "This is what I have. What do you have?"
Mhm.
And
And
let's
that's
sit down.
transparency right there, Doc. That's transparency.
Right there. Exactly. And once we do that, Doc, listen, most beautiful relationship, because your spouse will realize too that you trust him or her.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that right there, that covers couple problems that you would have had in that relationship, right?
Yes, it does.
Because
Mhm.
this spouse is now saying to you, I trust you. This is my money. How
Mhm.
can we make this work so we have more and be able to save? The children are able to go off to college and vice versa, whatever is needed.
Mhm. Doc, I was people may say something wrong with me, but even if I have a speaking engagement and they give me an honorarium or I go somewhere and somebody bless me, I can't wait to go home to just show it to my wife. Look what else
Yeah.
I could bring.
Oh, yeah.
Look what else I bring. Look what else.
Right. Because you want to see that money grow.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. We work it together, Doc. When we work
Yes.
it together, you
Yeah,
know.
and I don't understand. Going back to where we are, I was getting ready to close. Tell me, do you how you could trust me with your life, but you can't trust me with your money?
Lord, I wish we had someone to. I wish we had someone in the audience can answer that first.
Because that's what people are doing.
Yes.
They'll give you anything, but you better don't ask them about no money. They
Oh, that's my money.
know, not my money, not my. So in their mindset, they need to be delivered.
Yes.
Be because they now value money more than they value
Their
themselves.
relationship
And
and
that should
themselves.
never be. That
No.
should never be. And you shouldn't even put money above your relationship.
No, no.
And like you were saying, even if you have $10, just jump in your car, go buy some ice cream. Listen, you don't e- I don't even, Tanya, and I don't even need to buy nothing. We could just
Right.
jump in the car and
And
go
there's
right
hope.
out to the beach and enjoy each other. Just enjoy the fresh breeze and talk.
Yes.
You
Yes.
got to make those memories because the day will come, God forbid,
Mm,
if you
yeah.
and your spouse don't die at the same time,
Yes.
one of you will only have memories.
Wow.
And I don't want memories to be us fighting over money or us
No.
fighting over things that are of
We
no
couldn't get.
consequence.
No. So true.
Let the memories be. Listen, I remember us on this beach,
Hmm.
just sitting down, enjoying the fresh breeze. I told Tanya, even before we got married, Doc, I said, Tanya, listen, it is my desire. This is what I want to do. If I were to die before you, after we get married, I want your new husband, if you decide to remarry, I want your new husband to come to the grave where I am every day to kiss me out. And she looked at me crazy. She said, what you mean by that? I said, I want to treat you so good that even after I gone, if anybody, any other man come, he can be like, man, what you do to this woman? Then every day she's still comparing you to me to you.
Wow. Now that's
That being
powerful.
said, that
Yes.
being said, I can't focus on the minor
No.
thing.
Which is
I
money.
gotta focus on the major.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Now that's beautiful.
Hmm.
And that's why there are so many lack in relationship. That's why there are so many conflict in relationship because we have not fully trusted our spouse.
Yes, yes, you hit the nail right on the head, Doc.
Yes, yes, yes. And I can understand why. But the thing is, that's the man or the woman you wanted.
Hmm. Hmm.
Our audience, those listening, you married the man or the woman that you wanted.
Hmm.
Doc, sometimes people feel that I can marry this person. They see some things they didn't like, but they felt that if I marry this person, they will change. So if you marry to someone that you cannot trust, that's your fault. But
Yeah.
there's still hope, right? You can still make it. You have to realize you're in it to win it. Yes, there are problems here, there are problems there, but because you're in it to win it, you're going to now sit down and face that thing that is a problem, whether it's finances or whether you don't trust your spouse because they can't manage money well, then train them to manage money well and then move
Hmm.
forward.
Yes.
I believe,
Yes.
Doc, a lot of problems in the relationship, it's because we thought we could have solved it by marriage.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And people don't realize that what you see before marriage, you get more of it after. And that's a
So
good
much.
thing and a bad thing.
Yes.
If if you saw that boy, every time Alvin goes out, he's so helpful and all that type of stuff. When we get married, you can realize I'm more helpful.
More helpful.
And
And that's good.
I don't just open up the door. I throw out the
Yes,
trash. I do this. I do the other thing. I iron the clothes. I help here and I help there. And
that's right.
then it'll be like, oh well, he used to rob me every now and again, but after we get
Hmm.
married, it can be more now than
More.
again. You can
Yes.
get more,
Yes. That is
and
so
people don't
true.
realize that.
No, no.
Yeah.
So if you meet her as a woman who like to have spend lavishly,
Oh Lord.
you need to start praying,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, there is hope, but you got to
Yeah.
work it together. And the
Thank
thing is,
you.
you can't blame that person for what. You can't blame,
Mm-hmm.
because you realize it before that,
Mm-hmm.
she looked
Mm-hmm.
like she loves spending. She's a spendthrift. So
Yeah.
now you have to sit and say, can we work this out? This is not going to help our relationship. Can we work
Mm-hmm.
this out?
Mm-hmm.
How can we fix it? And
Yeah.
trust have to be the number one, Dr. Alvin.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
You got to be able to trust each other, because if you can't trust each other, that relationship has no foundation. Trust is
None
that
at all.
foundation, and that is
Trust is
why too, when we counsel persons where there is broken trust, you have to be clear,
mhm,
precise, and you have to be firm with the
right.
couple that you're counseling. Because where there's
Yes.
broken trust, um, boy, Doc, it is very hard, I say almost impossible to fully repair broken
Yes.
trust.
It's hard.
Because in the back of your mind, even though, mind you, you allow them to you still in the relationship, you allow them to do what they're doing and all of that type of stuff. In the back of your mind, you if you don't get amnesia, you will remember, boy, in 1972 you did this,
Right.
and I know you won't do it in 30 years, but you might do it now.
Yes.
That's human
Yes.
nature.
That's human nature. That's why trust helped to bring healing for all of that.
Mhm.
We often say, I may forgive you, but I may not forget.
I can forget. Well, for those of you watching, follow us on G,
I
on
do.
Facebook, YouTube, on TikTok, X, which was Twitter. Like, subscribe, and share. Yes, it's IG. Follow us on IG,
Yes.
Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, X. Like us, share, send us comments. Like Doc says, if there is some hot topic that you would like for us to discuss, send it to us. We will welcome it, and we will do our best to facilitate, even if that means that even if we don't know, we will do our best to get an expert on the show that could help us understand what's going on in that area. But yeah, Doc, money, oh, is a good thing, but it's a bad thing
It's a bad thing if we're not
if you use
handling
it
it
wrong.
right.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Wow. So, in our closing, Doc, I want to encourage our audience to share the page with and subscribe. But above all, for those that are in marriage and they're having challenges in marriage, start out with the trust.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Really trust that person. And then if they do not live up to your expectations, have a conversation. But
mm-hmm,
don't not trust that person again because they failed me again. You know,
mm-hmm,
we have to try and make it work.
mm-hmm.
And when you are in a relationship, Doc, you either go in to stay, but you never look at going in to stop in.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why a lot of people they go in with this and that. If it doesn't work, I'm out of this. Go whole. Go into it whole. And if
Go
it
100.
if
Mm-hmm,
right, and if you have problems, find ways to resolve it. Get someone to talk to and help you, show you the way. Because like Dr. Alvin say, if you got all that power, why have the power and you don't know how to turn on the light or refuse to turn on the light? Get help if you must.
yeah,
Get help.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And in my closing, Doc, I just want to remind our listening audience about those 3 points that we, mind you, is not just those 3 points that will help us and to safeguard us as we deal with money or any issue in a marriage and relationship. But those 3 points we looked at today is that you got to be transparent. And not only must you be transparent, you have to communicate and you must be honest.
Yes.
If you want to make it, you got to be transparent,
Hmm.
got to communicate, and got to be honest in your dealings, and you would stiffen.
Yes.
So, blessings and peace. You have been watching the Relationship and Marriage Hour here this Sunday with Dr. Maria MacDonald and myself, which is brought to you by the Love Bay Radio, your number one African, Caribbean, and diaspora online radio out of Canada. We are hosting this out of Nassau, Bahamas, and we open it up that if you have any questions, any concerns, you can just shoot it to us. But tell a friend to join us every Sunday, right here, every Sunday, that we have breath at 3 p.m. from 3 to 4. And you will be blessed as we do what we want to do, what we have to do to bring you topics that we think are provocative but needed to better your relationship. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Dr. Alvin. And let me just tell our audience again, please tune into Miss J program on Thursday at 7 p.m. to get more information on how to budget your money and come together. She deals with the business topic. So please join her on Thursday at 7. Thank you. It's good to have been with you today.